Hello everyone, my name is Ovi, and today in this video, you're getting a deal because this video is a 2-for-1. And what do I mean by that is that I had created this list 3 months ago, right? What my predictions were going to be for the profession. So we're going to go over how good my predictions were, and then secondly, where the professions are 3 months later, right? So let's get started. So we're gonna start with let's just start with the first one, herbalism. Herbalism, in my last video, which I'll put a link in the description so you can go back and check it out and see what my logic was back then to what it is now, and I'll kind of go over it a little bit. So in my last video, I put it in A. I was like, okay, herbalism, usually they're very good in the beginning, because they got to supply a lot of things. It was not only in potion making, it was sprinkled in Inscription, and I think some other, Enchanting too. So some other places it was in. So I'm like, okay, so demand is going to be pretty high for herbalism. Now, I was selling it short. Actually, it was S tier. It turned out in the beginning to be completely S tier. Gathering, herbalism was just up the kazoo, especially that Wraith bark. That was the let's say the rarer of the herbs. That was going for, wow, what was it going for in the beginning? I think it was like over 200 gold, like a stable amount, 150, 200. Especially for the higher ranking ones, it was way up there. I think in the beginning, everyone that started with herbalism, particularly with the gathering professions, was just making gold over risk. I don't know. I messed up the friggin' metaphor of the saying how it goes, but they were making a shit ton of gold. That's all I got to say. Now, with that said, with things coming to a slow, the Hall of Fame has completed, and I think there's a lot less push for that kind of stuff. Things are trickling down. Now, it's gone to the crap. I kind of want to put it to D, just because I think there's others that are making more gold right now. Even the Wraith bark is not as profitable as it was. I think it's down to like maybe 40 for the quality 3 one, but Honking Boom is in the dumpster. Bubble Poppy, Saxifrage is Frage, I don't know how you say it. Those are pretty cheap, like 10 gold, 15 gold. And the lower ones, I think they're kind of like almost getting the same price, same amount of gold that they'll charge for others. It really doesn't really matter now anymore. So herbalism, yeah, it was hit it while it was hot, strike it while it was hot. But now it's in, I would say, D. Okay, let's go into the next one, which was engineering. Now, engineering I had put at C, and the theory behind that was that engineering typically, unless you got a mount or a really cool pet, it doesn't make much gold really. Why I didn't put it, I was tempted to put it in D, but I left it in C because I said, okay, you might make some money from this profession because we're gonna get risks for non-engineers and the helms. Now, it turns out that the helms, I honestly were a bust. Nobody has helms. I guess because it's with a tier piece, or maybe because they can just put it in the wrist. So the wrists have been selling, I want to say maybe 10 to 1, maybe even more than that than the helms. So that kind of sucks. So there was no really gold in that. There are some sales, but not that much. The wrists there are. The other little trinkets and bobs and things, the toys aren't selling. So that's why I put it in C. If I want, I kind of want to bump this up to actually B, because the risks were selling, and you could get a nice little commission in the beginning if you got enough knowledge points. Because a lot of people wanted safety mechanisms, all these little extra things that you can add, but you needed to put knowledge points in. So if you could craft those, you can probably demand a little bit more commission to where you were making. Not spectacular commissions, but still. Also, engineering had a lot of tools that in the beginning a lot of people were in the market for. So I think these rankings here, also scopes. Some people were making really good money with scopes when they went into that. They remarkably they were selling pretty good. I'm guessing the reason why the scopes sold so well is because the enchantments for the weapons were so ridiculously expensive as far as enchanting goes. They were, 150,000 for an enchant for a weapon. When if you were like a hunter or who uses guns and who uses guns? I think it's just hunters, right? Shoot. I can't think of it. I guess it's just hunters. So instead of all those hunters, which I'm sure there's plenty of, because I think that's like the most popular class, they went for the scopes because they were just cheaper and they actually were pretty good. So I think that's why I would bump that up from my original C to a B. With that said, profits have kind of come down. So I will probably still leave it at C currently, because you can still make some decent money with like the zap throttles, with the reagents. It's pretty good, decent money, pretty good, decent return. So, I'm kind of low B, high C, but we'll just leave it at C for now, right? We'll just leave it at C. Okay, what we have next? We have Alchemy. So Alchemy, I had put that in S tier. Now, the reason why I had put this in S tier is because I thought that the potions and the flasks would sell at their crafting price. Okay, this is a big phenomenon that happened with Dragonflight. So I thought they were going to be crafted at that price. And then if you specialized in this new thing called multi-craft, it's like you get this little extras for a craft. So I'm like, okay, so you're going to make money off that one, let's say potion. So you're going to make money off that one potion, and then magically you'll get every once in a while 1 or 2 more, right? Every 10 crafts you probably get 1 or 2 more, and that's just extra padding, right? You're already going to make profit for your potion. You're going to get them to rank 2s, and then when you profit for rank 3s and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a bonus. But what happened with not only Alchemy, but with many other professions, is that with this whole quality system, it drove to sell the quality 1 and quality 2 items below crafting cost, and loading all the profit to the rank, to the quality 3 crafts. I could not have foreseen that. That to me was like, I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but instead of you getting your value from your craft and from those procs for quality 3s and the multi crafts and the resourcefulness and all that kind of stuff. Which again, I never was pro resourcefulness, but at this point, it did matter, and it does matter to this day. Resourcefulness is where you're going to squeeze those nickels and those pennies out of Alchemy. So that to me was the biggest bust. That potions and flasks were a dud in that respect. I think the only people that actually managed to make any real gold in the beginning were the people that were making the reagents, and they focused not in that, where everyone went left, they went right, or vice versa, I should say. And they did the reagents, the one that you mix all the 4 herbs, primal conversion, I think it's called. Oh my god! Oh no, it was the chromium and the omnium something. Oh my god! Anyway, if you were Alchemy, you know what I'm talking about. Those 2 reagents, people were making good money out of that. Now, with that said, nowadays, it's pretty bad. I would put it. Shoot, I don't even want to put it next to engineering. because it's extremely competitive, and this whole topsy-turviness of being upside down, I actually am going to put it behind engineering. So yeah, I was completely wrong. I did not expect that to happen, and so that is my big bust for that prediction. I think now shoot, it's like it's below engineering. It's like a low C, maybe mid low C. Shoot, sometimes even dipping into D. Alchemy is just so bad, and especially since there were some potions that you had to be in a dungeon in the location, and then if you didn't reset your instance or something, you had to run it all over again. It's just a hassle. It's really Blizzard is really baked in a lot of bloat into the professions that some are welcome, right? So it's some more things to your profession are cool, but some of them are just obnoxious. So I'll leave Alchemy now in C tier. Okay, let's go with what's next. Okay, blacksmithing. So blacksmithing I had put at S tier. The reason being is that not only were you going to do weapons, you were going to do armor, you were going to do the reagents, and what else did they have? And tools. Lots and lots of tools. Okay, so now that we're getting into the crafting professions, I have to say, like I did in my previous video, is that yes, you could make from the beginning, you can make some good gold crafting, but it was going to come at the cost of you basically being parked in Veldraken, just spamming trade chat saying I can do this, I can do this, whispering people, trying to get them to do your crafts. But if you were adamant at it and you had the time, you could make a lot. As far as the crafting orders that were public, or the public ones, non-existent, nothing. And then if and when they had lousy commissions, right? This profession thrived on you spamming trade, getting your guildies to make your stuff, or send you their orders, whispering people nonstop, negotiating. It was very intensive. The more you put into it, the more you can make, right? So I would still, let's say, I kind of feel like I want to leave it at S, but I'm going to bring it down to A, because what happened is that a lot of people that went into the reagents, like the alloys and like the stones and all these other little things, those are robust. Again, with this whole quality 1, 2, 3 thing, people loading everything to rank 3s, that fizzled, because the more skill you got, the lesser the quality reagents you could use to get away with crafting higher end gear, right? The weapons and the armor. Also, you were getting more points into your inspiration builds, so you could proc those juicy extra points that, for instance, let's say a recipe was 400 points, right? And you only had, I don't know, 250. But if you put a lot of points into your inspiration, and especially if you crafted that nice epic hammer for blacksmiths, you could get like 100, 170 inspiration that you would have to proc. You could literally proc at least 30% of the time, if not by this time, which is 40% of the time. You can get those crafts, and you tell them, hey, I got 40% craft, or percentage that I can make this at the top rank with all the embellishments, with all the primal infusions and all this other crap that adds to that difficulty, the recipe difficulty. You could craft those. So I would drop it down to A, just because the whole reagent side, and that really didn't pan out. And it just, crafters are the ones that are making the money. The ones that are really high up and don't require inspiration, they can switch their one of their tools, blacksmithing tool, to be completely for resourcefulness. And when those proc Oh, it's delicious. You'll get like 10 alloys, saved, reagents saved, or something really juicy, and that just adds to the commission that you're already charging. Now, there's people that have gone to do a lot of these recrafts or these crafts, and they don't charge you any money. Obviously, they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They could literally say, hey, you know what? I'm crafting this at a percentage. They could then switch the tool and put it for complete resourcefulness, and then they just hit those resourcefulness, like 30% resourcefulness. That means every third time they craft, they'll just get a bunch of alloys or a bunch of reagents that they can just go ahead and sell on the on the auction house, and they didn't have to craft them. So and if it procs, right? If they get those inspiration procs, and so be it. If not, the person could just resend it again and again and again, rinse and repeat, and making money with it. It's a bit scummy, and I'm not sure everybody's doing it, but I'm sure there are some. But if you're legit, hey, just tell them this is the proc, and it's up to you and your conscience whether you do it or not, right? But as far as blacksmithing goes, I'll leave it at A, because it's one of those professions that you have to be involved in, and if that's what you like, that's the potential you can make. Again, with the biggest asterisk that you have to be basically a customer service agent and tell them, hey, sir, have you been helped? I saw you posted you needed that war glaive, right? I can make it for you. I charge so much, or I'll leave it up to you. Just send me the thing, right? And usually most people they're decent, and they'll send you, 4K, 5K, maybe 10K, if they're feeling generous for your craft. So I would leave it at A slight miss for me. Okay, next we have is Enchanting. So Enchanting I had put at A, right? I had put it here at A. The reasoning being that in the beginning, enchants, they're very sought after. They're very rare as far as like the materials that go into it. I knew it would fizzle eventually, because once people start getting things that they can disenchant, it starts flooding the market with materials to be able to enchant, right? Now this is the thing. This is the problem with this that's gonna skew the tier list, is that this was one of the professions that was, I guess you could say, hackable, or you can trick the game into giving you only rank 3s. So what would happen is that if you had your bags full, right, and you were crafting an enchant, and the only slot where it could go into, let's say everything was full, right, but since you could stack, I think it's 1,000, right, 1,000 enchants. If you had no bag space, but you had a rank 3 enchant that you only had one of them, right, as long as you kept crafting, the game would be like, okay, so you procced a, or you made a rank 2 or quality 2. Where do I put it? I can't put it in your bags because there is no place to exist. So somehow the game's logic said, well, shoot, just make it a quality 3, and they would fill in that quality 3. I actually have a suspicion that one of our dear beloved gold making content creators here was very what's the word, boastful about their continual gold caps that we're making with Enchanting, and how Enchanting was just friggin' amazing. And now it's been 2 to 3 weeks, and it's radio silence from this guy. No videos whatsoever, no posts on Reddit, nothing. So I have a suspicion, a very big suspicion, that this person either got a little vacation time. Who knows, if some permanent vacation time, but I suspect. So the thing is that if that was really inflating a lot of people's success with Enchanting, then that's just an asterisk on that profession itself. So I don't know where to put it. I think from A, I have to probably still leave it there, because they were selling, and people were buying those enchants, and yeah. So right now, if I had to say, I can't leave it at A, but we won't leave it at A. We'll put it down to, yeah, we'll put it down to B. B, maybe a B minus, right? For the enchants. Because they're still selling, there's still enchants for tools, but that has sold down. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of enchanting after I've done all these professions, but yeah, I don't know what to say. We'll just we'll just not think about enchanting too much for right now, because that threw a lot of it off. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're gonna go with Inscription. Inscription I had put at S tier. Now, from the beginning, I had said I was probably one of the few that said if Dark Moon cards are not this that you must have, this thing is going to be a bust, right? Why? Because from the beginning, we found out that you have to make these packs, and these Dark Moon card packs, they require a lot of these essences, right? The Awakening Order, or the Frost, Fire, a lot. And in the beginning, the prices were just going to be stupidly high. Stupidly high. So unless this thing was, you know, the business for trinkets, this was just not going to fly. And unfortunately, that's what the case was with Inscription. It's been a complete bust as far as a whole specialization side, because there's a whole tree that is just basically nuked, other than the missives and the draconic treatises. But the sides of it, it's just complete waste. Now, that's a good thing, because for those that waited and did not put any knowledge points into those two sides, you know, with the Dark Moon cards, and then the deck boxes, and on its other side with the little sigils that made the how the cards manage different, that's a lot of savings that you could, a lot of points that you saved that you could put into other things in far as Inscription. Like, for instance, for my scribe, I put all the points into tools and into staves, right? And I could make staves, you know, nice quality staves from the get-go. They didn't sell many, but you know, the main reason why I did my scribe is because I wanted to have somebody that could give me my weekly knowledge points for my treatise, from my draconic treatises, without fail. I've always been a self-sufficient person, but those sales have been in the dumpster. Even spamming trade chat saying, "Hey, I'll make them. Just send me the orders." You can't. And now you only get 4 public orders in Inscription. It's killed it. I just to not lose the charges, or just to use them up, because I never craft anything. I end up crafting treatises for 50 gold. I think the lowest I really want to do is 100. Rarely do I see one that's like 250 gold for a treatise. Honestly, I think those should be like around 1,000. You know, for all the effort that you put into getting these things, at least 500, I'd say. You know, if you only have 4 crafts a day. If not, just send them, you know, via personal order. That would be great. But no one's taking on their offer. They either have their own scribe that's just providing them with their knowledge points, or, you know, someone's coming along that's leveling up their Inscription. And since it's a discovery system for these draconic treatises for the knowledge points, they're happy to scoop them up for gold, to have a chance to find that, to discover that treatise, which I had a very difficult time getting my last 2 to proc to finally discover them. So thankfully, I got that before they went down from 20 public orders to 4. So I managed to get all my discoveries in before that. So right now, the only thing that is left here is the every once in a while you get a, you know, if you're a scribe, you'll get an order for a staff, for a codex. Those are rare, very rare. I think the only markets that left is missives. There is a path that you can take, which is not expensive, which you could probably do right now if you just want to roll a fresh scribe you can put like around, I think 30, 40, 50, 80, like under 100 knowledge points, and you can get your into missives to get them to rank 3. And those, I'll be honest, you'll get 10 and 15 gold per craft. I mean, it's not much, but if you have that scribe like for your knowledge points for your other professions, it's something you can delve into. Other than that, you could go for inks, but those don't sell. I mean, again, it's with the whole quality 2-3 thing. The quality of 3 just eats up your profits for quality 2, and it's just, you have to go for 3. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put it in D. Honestly, I just don't see it. Shoot, now I want to put Alchemy even lower. God, man, I might just do this. Now that I'm seeing it, it's just so bad. Alchemy is so bad. High D, this has just been dumpsters. Inscription, I'm just like, damn, at least this I can still make, 8,000 an hour. Or something like that, maybe 5,000 an hour. Just this, no, you just can't. It's nowhere. Everything was running on Darkmoon cards. Everything was running on this, and that did not happen. That was a complete bust. So all the way from S, all is just the biggest fall with this one too, and these. Let's just move on. Okay, what's next? Jewelcrafting. Jewelcrafting, I had put that in B tier. B tier because how can I say this? Maybe I just had a bad experience as far as like the actual gems in Shadowlands. They were just basically vendor trash. Honestly, there was no point to gems in Shadowlands. Now the saving grace was legendaries for your rings and your necks. I think, honestly, I think there was the one that made me the most gold were the rings. Shadowgas rings. And at one point, even the necklaces were making me a ton of gold. Especially, they were giving me more profit, more percentage, but they would sell less, right? So I would sell less necklaces, but I would make way more profit than the Shadowgas rings. Shadowgas rings, wow, I want to go back to that, just crafting rings. Legendaries was just so awesome for me, at least. So in this case, I'm like, I don't have really that much faith in gems, so I didn't go that route. But they were making again rings and necklaces. They were making these sockets, which the people that went into the sockets were making a lot of money. Which I think, I'm not gonna put it in S tier in the beginning. I'm probably gonna put it in A, solid A. I think so, because the people that were making the sockets for the necklaces, if they spec'd into that, they were making good money, very good money in the beginning. And then a lot of the people that could, went into prospecting, they also made some good money in the beginning. Just real fire soul type of stuff, flash of the pan type of thing. Right now, that market is completely, it's gone. The diamonds are in the dumpster. Gems are in the dumpster. It's just the reagents are in the dumpster. Right now, the only thing that's making you gold is if you are in trade saying, hey, I can make the rings and I can make the necks. Now, here's another profession that has an asterisk to it. If you were a goblin that had a lot of gold and could, hear me out, pay a gold cap for that stupid lariat recipe, you made out like a bandit. That was basically winning the lottery if you either sold it or you actually got the drop, right? Because at that point you have to think about, right? If you get the drop, holy crap, am I a jewel crafter? No, sell the freaking thing. Sell it for a gold cap and it'll go big. Why? Because everybody and their mother was like, oh, it's BIS. Oh, it's BIS. You can put this 3 sockets and this and that, and then it'll hit your primary gem, blah, 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 blah. Everybody was going crazy for the friggin' lariat. That's why it was going so high. It was also crappy because it was extremely scarce, and to this day it still is. I think the recipe still goes for like 1 million, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 750. I think I've seen it down to like 500k. And even then, at those prices, you could still buy it, right? And if you are in trade, you'll get those sales. You know, just tell them, hey, yeah, I can make it for 18, or you know, just the regular 392. Everybody and their mother wants a lariat for the neck, right? So, right now, shoot, damn, I can't believe I'm actually gonna do this. I'm gonna put it in S tier. S tier with an asterisk, right? If you manage to get the drop, or if you have enough gold to buy this at 1 million, right? And then really go ham. And honestly, there's a lot of competition, but this is so in demand that people have made back their gold. Like I've seen people that they buy it for 1 million, and they're in there in the trenches saying, hey, I'll craft it, and you know, they managed to get, I don't know, 10, 15k. When I got mine crafted, it was a personal order, and I put 20k, and it got done like that. And then for my second character, I put 10,000 for a personal order. It got done like that. So right now, if I put it for 5,000, I can get away with somebody making it. So you know, it's easy gold at that point. So, you know, even with the reduced amount of personal public orders that you can make, you can still be there and working your little butt off making these. Not only that, but the other ring, and then the hourglass ring, and then that's it. Oh, and also, you could by now you could still spec into those, right, to the rings and to the things, and you can also make the those purple gems. Remember, in one of my last videos when I was going over Jewelcrafting, I said those limited diamond gems, right? The ones that give you primary stat and, you know, your secondary. Those, from what I see, you could sell them. You can sell them straight up. You can tell them, hey, I can proc rank quality 3s, and I will just charge you 5k, 10k, whatever it may be, right? And you have a chance to proc it. The only thing, there is no recrafts for those, so people have been antsy to be, you know, crafting those. But since they are cheap as far as Primal Chaos goes, I've seen a lot of public orders for those. And maybe, you know, they'll say, okay, you know what, I'll spend 5k for you to make me the gem, and if it procs quality 3, good. Otherwise, I've seen people sell guaranteed quality 3s, or I think a minimum has been like 30k, because you have to use your artisan's metal to push that to guaranteed, obviously with quality 3 materials. But again, quality 3 materials right now are in the dumpster. They're cheap as hell, right? So that's why these recrafts for like let's say the lariats and the rings, to get them originally, you get them for 392. If you want to craft them for 418, it's really cheap to just play the RNG a few times and get it to proc your inspiration and get them up to 418 with all these you know, accoutrements. So actually, shoot, I think I'll put it at a low S, high A, low S, just for that. But again, with the biggest asterisk that you have to be in the trenches, you have to push people. And also for in the next patch, there's gonna be something with some ring you get, and you can socket some primordial gems, and you have to get a Jewelcrafting to do that. That might just be something that you might want to look into. So look at that, and I had put it at B. Wow, I was so off. All right, let's go to the next one. What's the next one? Oh, what is it, skinning? No, leatherworking. Okay, leatherworking I had put at A. Right, I had put it up, or no, S tier. I had put it as S tier because why? Because you have the leatherworking, you have the mail. Okay, you have the leather armor, you have the mail armor. You had kits, you know, armor kits. You had, what else do you have? The bow. You can make a hunter bow. What else? What else is there? You had the reagents that you can make, the scales. It was a lot of stuff that you could go to. Now, again, I'm coming back with the whole quality 1, 2, 3. The scales things were a bust, right? Because everything was being loaded onto the quality 3s. quality 2s were made at below cost, and so there was a lot of wrangling in there that I don't know how these people are still selling them at below cost. You know, they're scrounging for profits. I learned that the hard way. So right now, okay, let's go with the beginning. I think it was still good, but lots of people wanting to get gear crafted, not the tier slots, but the other stuff. And then there's a lot of bestial patterns. There was a lot of patterns that needed the altar of decay, like the venom steep stompers for like evokers. Evokers love that stuff. They can't have enough of it. Those feet, armor for your feet. They love those. Right now, they nerfed the bow from the raid, so a lot of people are requesting that bow. They're not even going for that engineering gun, which I thought, okay, maybe they might go for the engineering gun. No, they want that bow, that bestial bow. But in the beginning, yeah, sure. I think I'm gonna have to drop it down. I think it was an A. It was definitely below Blacksmith. It was good because obviously the reagents didn't do good. The armor kits didn't do good. They still don't do good. But armor is still good. Would I leave it at A? No, I'm gonna have to drop it down to B. High B, probably high B. You know, again, this is messing with me. Honestly, I don't want to touch this, but I would go like that. Look at that. I never expected to see this. The leatherworking, I would say, it's still good. You still get people all the time wanting to have a waist made, or you know, feet armor, or the flaring cowl, the bow, but just not as much. Not as much. I think people actually going for engineering for the wrists and stuff instead of like a leather wrist, right? Since they can put it in a socket. So, and even then, right? I'm gonna leave it at B. So from an S to a B. All right, we're gonna go to mining. Mining, I had put it in an A, and because you know you needed it for the blacksmithing, for the armor, for the alloys, for the weapons. What else is it good for? I can't. Engineering, it needs it for a lot of their stuff. All the essences that goes into everything. So in the beginning, it was super S tier. Yeah, in the beginning, holy crap, yeah. I would say this was probably the gathering profession, not only for the ore, for the casgarite, getting that sweet casgarite hit, and then getting all those specializing in all the essences. Whew. It still is nice to this day. It's the best one, but again, it's gone down. So in the beginning, I had put it at A tier. It was definitely S, right? Now it's come down, and I would put it. I would put it in C. Honestly, I'd put it in C, high C, because this is still giving you the ore that the jewel crafters need to mine, because people are still trying to get those diamonds, still trying to make some profit off of those. And there's some people that do make good money with prospecting the ores. If you can get those casgarites procs, you know, when you hit the node, those are great. The rousings are, the rousing essences, and sometimes you get awakened essences. They've been a lot less to get them, but in the next patch, there's going to be like these ore veins that you can get. Maybe those are going to be nice to hit, and you get a lot of casgarite. Hopefully, eventually, we'll go down to into deep places, and we'll find like a maw area where, like, remember there was like a lithium, I think it was called, in Shadowlands. There was just lithium nodes. Imagine a underground area that's like, even if it's time restricted, like the maw, that the eye would like kick you out. Just hitting those casgarite. Obviously, casgarite would go down, but still, it's the highest selling, or value or. So I would put it in a C. But in the beginning, from an A, it was actually better, right? Okay, so we're going to skinning. Skinning I had put at A, and I had put it in A because I was like, okay, you're going to need it for mail armor, you're going to need it for leather armor, you're going to need it for the drums, you're going to need it for all sorts of little nicks and knacks here and there. Like for instance, if you racked up your Sibelian or what's that, the Dragon Kai? Rathian, right? If you got up the reps, you needed certain like a bear spinal cord and some other, like a maw and all these things that you can get, and they were getting for a pretty price. Rock Fang leather was going into treatises and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, you know what? Skinning's gonna be good. Obviously for the scale and the resilient leather. What I had not expected is for them to crash so bad. And there wasn't this like what was it, heavy callus hide that we had in Shadowlands that could prop it up. The scales and the hide, they kind of fizzled as well. There is still profitable. I don't know if there's any farm there, so this is probably the one that I have least knowledge of. Still, I'm actually going to put it above these. I'll probably have to put it here. Because the scales and the hides are still going for a decent profit. They're going like for 150, some of them like 300, 400 a piece. I just don't know how many you get per hour. So I don't know. So I apologize for that. But I think that it's actually more than Alchemy, frankly. Somewhere in between there, right? For skinning. But it's, I don't know. This is kind of a tricky place, but it's not great. It's not great. Okay, let's go to tailoring. Tailoring I had put at A. Okay, I had put it A because of for the bolts, and I had put it there for the cloth armor. Now I don't know what's happened with cloth armor. It's very niche. They only want one craft, and again for that one, I think it's a shoulders, amis of the blue or amis of the blue. The recipe is going for a lot of gold, and it's one that you have to again get in another asterisk, get into the trenches and get the few people. I have not seen, for as far as armor goes, tons of people asking for plate armor, tons of people asking for leather armor, some for mail, but it's mostly been plate and leather. Every once in a while, I'll see somebody in trade saying, "Hey, I need that amis," or some other thing, right? I can't remember what other item it is. But as far as armor goes, it's been a bust, right? They have very few professional equipment that they make, especially that is crucial, other than for themselves, which they can make a vest for tailoring. Bolts, it's stupid to me to have that cooldown for bolts. I think it's useless since there is no demand for the bolts, honestly. They still sell for a profit. In the beginning, I was making about 20,000 per batch from Azure and Chronocloth. But again, with the glitch, you could probably do that and I think it's still there, every 2 to 3 days it would reset, so you can do your however many charges you can get. I'm up to 30 now for my tailor, but it's not a great profit. I thought armor was going to sell good. I thought people were going to want the transmog because to me the transmog is pretty cool. It's like this nice red burning color, or burning effects, and I thought, okay, bags are just too expensive, and for what? No, there's bags from other expansions that sell better. The bolts, just in the bin. As far as the Verdant cloth and the Wilder cloth bolts, it's so bad. Actually, so bad that it's got to go like somewhere here. I don't know. I'll leave it there. D. And that does it. Boy, oh boy. I honestly had, looking at my current tier to what I had previous, I had none in D tier. None. They were all in S and A, the majority. The only one that was in B was Jewelcrafting and Engineering in C, right? And that's the only probably thing that has stayed in C, Engineering. A lot of the ones that are in S, like Alchemy, and Inscription, those were the biggest fails. But I did say about Inscription, right? I was not expecting the disaster that happened with Alchemy. And everything else, yeah. Enchanting, I don't know what happened there. I guess Jewelcrafting is the jewel of the expansion so far. Making decent profits. And Leatherworking, any of the crafting is just big asterisks that you have to be in trade chat, whispering people and making gold. So I think I did pretty bad, actually. So that is where they stand right now, and I'll leave a link, like I said, in for my original video, what my theory was behind these professions, so you can see in my next video that I make professions for 11.0, see if you can trust me or not. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.